Small crowd today. This is the first year where I've done like so many Q&A, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be popular or not, but just wanted to provide the service and the option if people wanted it, but maybe I won't do this next year. Maybe I won't do so many next year. But welcome to this Q&A. And yeah, no one sent me any questions. So I think since there's only three other people here, feel free to unmute and turn on your camera and we can chat through any questions you might have.
Hi, Esmond. It's Carolina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I can you hear me?
You cut out there for a little bit, but I can hear you now. Nope, I think you cut out again, Carolina. Or if you want, you can use the chat as well to ask questions. Hello, hello. Oh, I guess we do have some more people coming in. I can't hear you right now, Carolina. I did hear you say hi, but now I can't hear you at all. But if you do have a question, feel free to just type in the chat. I can see that. And welcome everybody. It's just a small group today. This is my to the people who just came in. This is my first year doing so many Q&As. So it was just kind of an experiment just to give people options. But because it is such a small group, okay. Okay, Harry, I see. Hello, Esmond. Just a little nervous. All my questions are answered. Just trying to relax today. So, Harry, I totally understand. I was super nervous the first time I wrote it as well. If you do find yourself getting nervous, just take 7 deep breaths, seven being the target A1C. I think you'll find that helpful. But if you've done well on my practice exams, I've seen you've attended every Q&A, so I know you're working hard at this. I think, have just try to relax. The more relaxed you are, the better you'll do. And I have confidence in you for what that matters.
Hi, Yasmin. I have a
Hi.
few questions if
Sure,
you want
perfect. Let's go.
to. Okay. So the honeymoon period, I feel like I've
Mhm.
read it two different chapters, different timelines. So
Okay.
is it a few weeks to months, or is it because that is what stated in the chapter about how to treat type 1 diabetics. But then in the type 2 diabetic adolescent chapter, it says up to 2 years. So which one is it, do you think?
Um, I don't have a lot of experience with type 1 diabetes, but I know that it can take a long time for the honeymoon phase. So, oops, I have to admit some people. So basically, the honeymoon phase is a phase where people are transitioning from basically normal to type 1 diabetes. Their immune system is actively attacking their pancreas, but their pancreas is still able to pump out some insulin. So for that time, people typically need a lot less insulin. So I don't have any experience in pediatrics, but in terms of LADA, like latent autoimmune diabetes in adults, I do have a patient who has LADA, and her honeymoon phase has been like at least 2 years. Like me and the endocrinologist are like, oh, are you type 1 yet? Like, do you need basal, do you need bolus insulin yet? Okay, we'll still keep you on Januvia. Oh, your A1C is still okay. And we've been in this kind of waiting state for at least 2 years. So,
Mhm.
oh, perfect. Perfect. Good. Uh, 6 to 12 months for KG for pediatrics. I do know in pediatrics it happens faster. In adults, typically it's a longer process, and in pediatrics, it's usually a faster process. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it said a few weeks to 2 years in the pediatrics type 2 one, but okay. So I guess it would depend on who we're talking about, I guess. Adult or, child, I guess.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
I don't have any pediatric experience, so let me preface that.
Mm. Okay, and then in the Beyond Basics count for carbohydrates, can you just double review for pita and for non? What is the carbohydrate count? Because
Sure.
it's something about it being divided in two. So is half a pita? you know, that 1/4 of an inch or whatever it is.
Hmm. So this confused me at first as well, until a bunch of dietitians corrected me. So I was confused about this too. So, but now that I think about it one way, I can't think about it the other way. So do you see how the non-bread here, it's
Mhm.
a quarter? Do you see how, here, let's zoom in even closer. Do you see how the non-bread is broken just a 1/4 piece here?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I do, yeah.
So 1/4 is 15 grams.
Okay, so it is the 1/4 of the 6-inch
Yeah.
naan is 15
Same
grams.
thing
Okay.
here. Do you see how it's broken into two here?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then broken into two here? So
So then,
yeah, go ahead.
so the pita bread, it would be basically 3 inches is a 15 gram carbohydrate, right?
No, because you divide by 4, 6 divided by 4 is 1.5 for the non-bread.
Oh, yeah, I know naan is okay, yeah. So that one I understand. It's the 1/4 of 6, right? No, I was talking about the pita. So the
Oh,
pita
yes,
is the same thing, right? But so basically a 3-inch would be a 15 grams, like
correct.
half, right? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Um, so just to clarify, for Accord, Advanced, and VAD studies, basically, I know there was a question you had on one of your practice tests, and now I can't remember, but basically the idea is that those didn't really show major cardiovascular improvements. Is that correct? I mean, it showed microvascular, but not because they were done in longer standing diabetics compared to the UKPDS.
So a number of things. Like here, let me look at my studies and statistics cheat sheet.
Yeah, I don't
So
see
yeah.
that.
So like Accord was the one where it's like they tried lowering the A1C down to like 6.5 or something like that, or 6. And they actually had more deaths. So they actually canceled that study early
Right.
because people were people were dying faster. There was more harm than a benefit.
Yeah.
So then the question is, why did those people have more cardiovascular events? And so there's two camps on this. One camp is that we don't know, uh, we need further research, and the answer is mysterious. The other
Mhm.
camp is that it was hypoglycemia, because back then in like 20, 2000, I don't know when that study came out, like way long decades ago, they only had insulin and sulfonylureas and metformin. So
Mhm.
they're trying to hammer these people with metformin to a limited amount, but mostly hammer them with sulfonylureas and insulin to try to get them low. And we know that hypoglycemia can cause frequent hypoglycemia can cause CV issues. So there's the other camp that thinks it was hypoglycemia. There's no consensus on that. There's two camps of thinking about that, but that's the camp that I fall into.
Mm. Well, then how about the advance and the VAD study? Like the veterans one and the other one. It was called Advance, I think. What was the significance of those?
I'm
Because
actually, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, because now I have to like find where that question was, but I know there was a question and now I can't remember, and it was something to do with what kind of CV outcomes they, because I know Accord, yeah, I know they had deaths, so they ended the study, but and then I reread the Advance and it's kind of conflicting in what it's saying. So anyway, okay. I just thought if maybe I'll look for that question again.
Is it on my practice exams?
Yeah, on your
Okay,
quiz.
then you can email me about that. Advanced and VADT, like the veterans, actually I'm not that familiar with it because I haven't seen it show up on an exam. So that's why I didn't include it in my cheat sheet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
No
so much.
problem. Yeah. And this is meant to be a casual session. Please come and go as you please. There's no pressure to stay till the end or anything like that. This is just to make you feel as relaxed and confident as possible for the exam. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to the chat right now. Let's see here. Oh, no problem, Harry. everyone, it's normal for people to be anxious for the exam. Thank you. Your course has been wonderful and a lot of anxiety has been already relieved. So thank you for that. Okay. Does cannabis use, so KG asked, does cannabis use only result in increased risk of decay for type 1 diabetes and not type 2 diabetes? Um, I would assume so because type type 1 diabetes decay is usually associated with type 1 diabetes. So I would, normally people with type 2 get the HHS. And so I would say that I'm not sure if there's any, and I'm not sure if there's that much research with cannabis and type 2 diabetes. So maybe in real life, yes, smoking a lot of cannabis would increase a type 2's risk of decay, but there's not a study to prove it. And so I would just go with the guidelines. Okay. Carolina asks, how much is the percentage of people having type 1s and type 2 among family members? Okay, so that's in the pathophysiology lectures. So let me just go back to that one. I put it in, I think it's in 3. Right here. So if the father has type 1 and such, this is yeah, this is the reference for it. So you can find all those numbers just right here, Carolina. Uh, when will a doctor initiate finerenone for client with diabetes and CKD? Will they ask for it in the exam? I don't think that will be a question for the exam. Um, I haven't actually prescribed finerenone myself for type 2 diabetes and CKD because usually the first thing I try to get them on is an SGLT2. So I've definitely seen finerenone and I've heard of it, but I've actually never prescribed it before because I try to get people on SGLT2 first, and people have a limited amount of medications they're willing to take. So, for me, it's like SGLT2 and statin or GLP-1 that I try to push first, and then they get more and more resistant as I try to add more medications. Okay. So do both DPP4s and GLP-1's receptors have potential to cause pancreatic cancer? That's a good question. Let's see. Let's see if I put that on my cheat sheet or not. The thing is that the DPP4s are quite a lot weaker than the GLP-1s. So kind of like how GLP DPP4s don't have weight loss and don't have any cardiac benefit. It's because they're so weak, basically. They both affect the incretin system, but they're so weak that they really don't have enough of an effect there. So let me just see here if pancreatic cancer is in here. And I could and if I can't answer it right now, KG, I'll definitely look up the answer for you later. Okay. So here, let's take a look at, so if you're looking for drug information, a great place to go is the Drug Canada database. This has the latest product monographs. You can also search like the CPS, but this one has the latest ones. And so you go here, you go marketed, you go product name. Oopsie. Go search. Then you have all the latest monographs. Okay, Control F. Sorry, I just have lots of windows open. Okay. Okay. So definitely there's the risk of thyroid cancer that's still there with all GLP-1s. This has been shown in rats, but hasn't been shown in there's conflicting research in humans, but that's why there's still that warning there. Okay, looks like that's the only cancer it causes. I don't see a pancreatic cancer here.
Esmond, on your medication cheat sheet, you
Mhm.
have it's both DDP4s and GLP-1s.
Okay, let me just double check that.
Yeah, it's on the medication cheat sheet.
Okay. Whoops. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong cheat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Thyroid, okay. Here we go. Yeah. They kind of have this blanket statement about them. Um, I would I'll have to look into that further. Like they kind of have this blanket statement about those things. So, but yeah, in the latest monograph, it doesn't look like it actually has it anymore. Still has the pancreatitis. Oh, pancreatitis and or pancreatic cancer. Okay. Um, I'll have to look into the cancer thing, but the pancreatitis risk is still there. So if that shows up on exam, I would say that does cause pancreatitis. That thing has been controversial. It's like I've heard some endos say it is and some endos say it isn't. So, but yeah, I guess I'll have to look a little bit deeper into that. So, KG, I'll look into that and post. I'll email you directly an answer, and after I've done a little bit more research. But thanks for bringing that up. Okay, Harry, can you please review pseudohypoglycemia and what kind of questions could be on the exam? I don't see much info on the guidance. Okay, so I do talk a little bit about this in chapter 14. So it's basically pseudohypoglycemia is basically some people don't see a family doctor regularly. And so let's say a patient hasn't seen a family doctor for years. Their sugar has been 15 for like 5 years. So their body gets used to having their sugar at 15. It's been 15 for the last 5 years. And so your your body gets used to the patient's body gets used to 15 as if it was 4 to 7. So when you come along and say and diagnose him and start treating him and you bring down his sugars to 5, your body, because it thinks it's at 15, thinks that the 5 is a low. And so some people will get actual low symptoms. They'll feel dizzy, they'll feel nauseated, they'll feel hungry, etc., etc. So that will eventually go away with time. Eventually, once you get their sugars better to target, their body will realize, oh, this is normal. It's 15 was the one that's high. And so, but those symptoms are real for the patient. They are really feeling sweaty because their body really thinks that 15 was normal. And so you would treat it like a low. You could use less if you want. Like you could use like a lower amount, like 5 to 10 grams or so. Uh, you could you could use 15. I think that'd be reasonable as well if the patient is having bad symptoms. But eventually their body will get used to 4 to 7, and then they won't get that pseudo hypoglycemia. If they're complaining about it a lot, you could just slow down the titration, and that will give the body more time to adjust to that new range of sugars. Yeah. Hope that answers your question, Harry. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Maybe I'll get off early today. Any other questions, concerns?
So I'm just, I studied everything, but I did review this whole area of teaching and education.
Mhm.
So let me, I just want to, I'm really nervous about those questions. But when I answered them on your tests, your practice exams, I was fine.
Okay.
So the strategy is basically the most empathetic answer.
Mhm.
Sorry. Sorry, the most empathetic answer is usually the right answer. Is that the way to go?
I would go with that.
Okay. Just want to verify.
Yep, definitely. There's a bunch of those questions often on the exam, and it makes sense. Like you probably want to do that in real life as well.
Right. Right. Your whole course has been actually fantastic. Thank you very much for putting it together.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, really very good guidance in terms of how to study.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you've enjoyed and learned I hope you've enjoyed the course and learned a lot about diabetes.
Oh, very much so. Yes, very much.
Perfect. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, maybe we'll just end a little bit early today, and that's totally fine. I will be opening up the post-exam forum at noon tomorrow, so that there's no one getting an unfair advantage. You can talk about the question. You can't put like word for word the exact questions, but you can talk about the exam in general. So yeah, I wish you all the best of luck. Sleep well. Just get it over with, and then just enjoy the rest of summer.
Thank you very much.
No problem. You have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Good
No
luck,
problem.
everyone.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.